This is the power of water, of king tides, of two storms back to back. Ian at the end of September and Nicole this month. The wind field is one of the largest we've seen in a really long time with the storm. You can see some of these rescue crews in full wetsuits because we don't know what's in this water floating here. And they've been bringing people, children. We saw people carrying dogs. A car flipped on its side. Wood sticking through windshields. And those are the kind of images that we see throughout Rolling Fork. We are here in Industry, Illinois, and this is where we actually had a close call with a tornado yesterday, which was quite a scary experience. Jeff, I want to first give you an update from emergency management officials. So far, 4 fatalities have been confirmed. Here in New York, sub-freezing temperatures, bone-chilling cold are making travel treacherous. What you'll see is this lovely vapor map to my left. Bernie, Christina, tell me, what are we seeing and what's causing these hot, dry conditions?
2 to 4 inches an hour. It's going to be quite a futile task. I want to actually bring in a special guest that I just ran into in the parking lot with his bright orange hat, Reed Timmer. If you're following him, he always is where the action is. So if he's next to me, I know I'm in trouble.
Take a look. It's hard. It's crunchy. It's icy. It's wet. Well, we started about 10 o'clock Central Time last night. We just got back at 5:30 Central Time to Greenville, Mississippi. And what you'll see is some of the charred areas that were used as a backbone in order to protect all the homes. It's tough when I talk with the residents like Mark Bowerly here. I'm going to bring him in because I can't answer that question without him. Mark, stand with me here. Let's talk with the viewers a little bit. You can turn yourself a little bit here. Talk to me about what you're seeing here. You own this home and that home over there. What did it look like before Ian and Nicole?
Well, before Ian...
Daisy Herrera, she's the textbook example of preparation, and I want to find out why. Tell me, why are you so focused on preparing for this storm?
Well, because I've been through a lot. I've been through Andrew.
What I love is just a couple houses down, there's a sign that says, "We will rebuild," and that's the resolve in this community. We'll send it back to you in the studio.
All right, Jillian, do us a favor. Please give her a hug from from Christine and I, and tell her we're thinking of her.
I can do that. Bernie and Christina want to give you a hug. Thank you. Bernie and Christina. Oh, I just heard Heather hiss. That's Heather. She knows her name. And this is Piney Fred. They are northern pine snakes, actually native to the Garden State. Well, I can't say I've done this before, doing a live shot during a fireworks show. Well, I can say, Bernie and Christina, 95 steps and a 9-rung ladder later with myself and my gear. I may be a little bit more sweaty than I was when I talked to you at 9 o'clock, but I've made it to the top. Weather plays a super important factor in this process. Wind especially. I'm joined by Mark Fritzy. We can start flying if you want to. 16 million BTU per hour when this gets going. And what we're also seeing is there are about 100 balloons that are scheduled to fly during this weekend that goes until Sunday. And yes, we're off the ground. We've got racers from Australia behind us here. So excited. So we'll send it back to you in the studio.
Yeah.
We can't wait for Sunday. In sunny Central Park, in Rolling Fork, Mississippi, in Charleston, in Wilbur by the Sea, in Hamburg, in Bryant, Illinois, in Waverly, in Queens, from Memphis, in Patterson, New Jersey, at Newark Liberty International Airport. For AccuWeather, I'm Jillian Angeline.
God brought us through this. It is I just give him all the glory.
Rolling Fork resident Tommy Hangst and his wife sheltered in this utility room Friday night when an EF4 roared through the small town. He said he could feel the whole house shaking and coming apart.
It was all stuff. It was just stuff. I mean, we had a lot of stuff, but Pam and I are still alive.
His backyard has seen better days, including this tree.
That was a tree out beside our patio. And it's, 150 years old. And had a double trunk. And one trunk took the car, the other trunk got the truck.
Hengst has been using a four-wheeler to get around. He and his wife have family, friends, and volunteers helping to pack items and clean up the mess. His daughter is one of them. She experienced a tornado last year at her home and saw what happened here. Both hit home the importance of heeding alerts, quite literally.
You come in and actually see what a tornado can do there will never be a warning that I don't take serious. My kids getting out of school because the weather might get bad. I was like, this is so ridiculous. When we grew up, we didn't have that. I will never, ever think like that again.
Hanks says they're taking life one day at a time, including all those insurance calls. The next big question he and his family have to grapple with, where they're going to live full time. In Rolling Fork, Mississippi, for AccuWeather, I'm Jillian Angeline.
Total loss. Everything flowed, every water, every straight into the house full of water.
Rising waters from Ian's torrential rains forced Damian Johnson out of his home Wednesday morning in Orlo Vista near Orlando. Orlando got at least 13 inches of rain.
I've been here 47 years in Orlando. I ain't never seen nothing like this.
Johnson is one of dozens rescued by boats and other water rescue vehicles. Orange County Fire Rescue was on the scene starting around 4:30 in the morning, but calls were coming in even earlier of water inundating homes. This area flooded during Hurricane Irma in 2017, but officials say this was much worse. The Florida National Guard was mobilized to help bring people to safety. Many of these residents only brought what they could carry. Pets of all sizes, a top priority.
Within an hour, it got up to my knees.
I cannot believe this. It's never happened to me, and I've lived in my house for over 20 years.
Roads flooded throughout the Orlando metro area. This unlikely object ended up in an intersection. Some cars died after drivers tried to go through dangerous floodwaters. This road buckled, sending bricks everywhere, a waterfall emptying into this lake. Cleanup and assessments of Ian's damage now begin in central Florida, like here in Starlight Ranch, where this bridge gave way, water rushing down. Now all eyes are on Ian as it heads up the east coast. A third landfall expected in South Carolina Friday. For AccuWeather, I'm Jillian Angeline.
Jillian, good evening.
Good evening, Adam. We're just off of I-80, and yesterday was my first time ever storm chasing. There were confirmed tornadoes, and while I didn't see any, there was enough power in this storm to be super life-threatening for so many people. Take a listen. With intense, dangerous storms pummeling the plains Wednesday night, high winds and tornadoes made travel on the roads difficult, nearly impossible at times. We stopped at a gas station to capture the brunt of the storm rolling through. Once we got back on the interstate, it didn't take long to see the power of the winds. The storm flipping many tractor trailers on their side on I-80. We counted about 9 within a few miles stretch of western Iowa. While gathering this video, we were flagged down by one of the drivers, Ali, by flashlight.
I tried to stop the car go side, and then after that, when I stopped gently the car, it flipped over.
Have you flipped over like that before?
No, it's my first time. I was driving wild, but it's my first time to see like this weather.
Ali's co-driver, the passenger, was badly injured from the truck flipping. He was bleeding.
Hey!
We placed the injured driver into our vehicle, wrapped him in an emergency blanket, and waited for emergency responders to arrive. Meanwhile, driver Ali grabbing anything he could out of the semi.
Why don't you bring that to my car? We'll stick it into the EMTs get here.
How is he doing?
An officer arrived first and had a first aid kit handy to help the injured driver, and the paramedics arrived shortly after that to take him to a hospital to get additional medical attention.
You know, storm chasers were always kind of the first ones there, and above being a storm chaser, above being a journalist, we're humans, you know, and when we saw him flag us down on the side of the interstate, you know, we helped get the guy out of the truck, we put him in the back seat, we were able to kind of wrap him up in a blanket, keep him warm. I tended to his injuries until the paramedics showed up.
It was a dangerous night for so many last night. We drove out earlier today to West Iowa, to Bayard, Iowa, where we saw one house, a total loss. And the family tells us they were in the basement when that warning came through. That's why it's so important to do things like download the AccuWeather app to get those watches and warnings no matter the season, because as you know, it's rare to have tornadoes in December. Adam, back to you.